Hey, Drago again. Welcome back to the Next.js 14 series. In the previous video, we took a look at our project's file structure and got a basic understanding of how everything fits together inside the SRC folder. Now in this video, we're going to build on that and dive deeper into routing basics in Next.js. So let's get started. In Next.js 14, routing is handled via the app router system. Every time I create a new folder inside the app directory, Next.js automatically generates a corresponding route for that folder. So when you create a folder called test, like we did in the previous video, it instantly creates a /test route. If you check the official Next.js documentation, I will link it down in the description below, you'll see that this file-based routing system eliminates the need to manually configure routes. For example, the page.tsx file inside each folder automatically becomes the main entry point for that route. So in our case, the test/page.tsx is rendered whenever someone visits the /test route. Now let's try something else. What we're gonna do is make a new route called /about. So I'm pretty sure that you can say all we have to do is make the folder about inside the app directory, right? So similar to the test, if we now make a page.tsx inside it and export a default function with any JSX inside it and check the route, it will start working. Now let's get more comfortable with Next.js routes by creating nested routes. Let's take an example where we want a route structure like this: /about/team and /about/company. To make it work, first of all, we're going to make a folder inside the app router called about. Inside it, we're going to have a page.tsx. This will be the route for /about. We have /about/team. So inside the app folder, we're going to make a folder called team. And inside it, we're going to write page.tsx. This will be our route to /about/team. And last up, as we have /about/company, we're going to have a company folder inside the about folder, and we're going to have page.tsx inside the company folder. It will map to /about/company route. Each page.tsx represents a different route. The nested folder inside the about become nested routes. Now if you navigate to /about, you'll see the about us page. Next, in the /about/team, you'll see the meet the team page. And lastly, in the /about/company, you'll see the company overview page. This approach lets you nest pages as deeply as your application requires. Now that you're comfortable with nested routes, let's dive into dynamic routes. So what are dynamic routes? In Next.js 14, dynamic routes allow you to create pages that have variable segments in their URL. For instance, imagine you're building a blog where each blog has a unique ID or slug, like /blogs/hello world or /blogs/Next.js 14. So how do they work? If you want to create a route for viewing individual blogs, we'll have a blogs folder inside the app directory, and inside it we'll write slug within third brackets. For the page, we'll render page.tsx. So now the page.tsx maps to /blogs/:slug. The slug part can be anything like hello world, Next.js 14 or any other blog ID. So let's actually see it in action. Now we have the page.tsx, but if we actually go to that route, it will give us not found. Inside the page.tsx, first of all, we're going to define an interface. We're going to write interface page props. Inside it, we're going to have the key of the object as params. So this is important that we write it as params, because all the dynamic segments from Next.js URL returns as params. So inside the params, we're going to have the param name as slug. So now we can define the function. So have it as export default page. Inside the parameters, we're going to have an empty object, and we're going to define the type as page props. Now inside the empty object, we can just hit control space and we'll get the proper type as params. Now inside, we can just write constant empty object equals to params, and we can just restructure the slug from it. Now return as viewing blog with slug. Now going to the /blogs/whatever will display viewing blog whatever, and going to /blogs/whenever will show viewing blog whenever. This is a proper structure for handling dynamic routes in Next.js 14 using their app router. Now let's learn about something more interesting: route groups. Let's say we're building authentication routes like sign in and sign up. Normally, you might want to create a folder named auth to handle this, and inside it, we'll have the sign in and sign up. So finally, the routes will look something like /auth, then sign in, and then /auth, then sign up. But what if we want these routes to be grouped logically in the code, but appear as /sign in and /sign up? Here is how we'll do that with route groups. First, we'll create an auth folder to group our authentication routes together. Before actually making any folder inside it, we'll rename the auth folder and have it inside first brackets. So first bracket, then inside auth. This will keep our routes logically grouped in the code without affecting the URL structure. So now we can have a signin/page.tsx and signup/page.tsx inside this auth folder or the grouped folder. Now the URLs will be /signin and /signup. Now I believe that you remember we had a layout.tsx in the root of our app directory. Let's talk briefly about it too. So currently all the routes that are inside the app directory will automatically follow the layout for the root layout file. Now let's say we want to do something different for the layout in the about page. So what we can do is inside the company, we're going to have a layout.tsx and we're going to do the same for the team. Now inside the company, we're just going to write export default function layout and then we're just going to have it. Now we also have to define the type. So we're just going to write children as react.react node. So what we're doing is wrapping the whole children inside this div and we're having a company h1 over the children. Now we could do the same for this one too. I'm just going to have it over here and I'm just going to change it to team. Now the files are separated by two folders, right? So team has a different layout and company has a different layout, but about doesn't have any layout. So about will follow the layout for this one, the root one, the app/layout.tsx, and company and team will follow their own respective layouts. So if we go to /about, it will show us only about us. Now, if we go to /about/team, we'll first have a h1, then meet the team. So at first the h1 was rendered and then inside the children we cut the page.tsx content. Now the same rule will be followed to the company page too. So if we go to /about/company, first the h1 will render, wrapping the page.tsx inside. Now what if we had a layout.tsx inside the about folder? So what we can do is just copy it and paste it over here. This time I'm going to change the h1 to about. If we hit the about endpoint, we get about and then about us. So if we go to /team, first we get the outer layout with /about, then we get the inner layout with /team, and then we get the page.tsx. So folders that have layouts in it and have nested pages in it, the layout will affect all the nested pages, but this layout will not affect its corresponding page like the company. Now this is still not the end of routing in Next.js. We still have a lot of options like parallel routes, intercepting routes, conditional routes, route handler, loading UI, error handler UI, and a lot more. But in today's video, we only covered the topics that you needed to get started with the basic project. And that wraps up today's video. In the next video, we'll talk about some advanced topic of Next.js, server components and client components. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. But before I finish up, I want to let you in on something exciting. If you're enjoying the content and want to support me, you can join my Patreon at patreon.com/itstrvgo. As a subscriber, you'll get early access to all my videos a day or two before they go public on YouTube. Plus, you'll be able to see exclusive behind the scenes, get sneak peeks of upcoming projects and much more. It's a great way to stay ahead of the curve and get involved in shaping future content. Also, if you have any questions or need help with anything we covered, don't hesitate to join our Discord server. I'm active there and it's the best place to connect with me and the community. You'll find the link in the description below. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next one. Peace.